Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic hypersonic.
Positronic hypersonic.
Positronic hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the season 3 premiere of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. The premiere episode was called Costa de Morte, which means Coast of Death. And as it starts, Daryl and Carol walk through the UK countryside, having arrived there either at the end of last season or in between seasons. I can't remember. Anyway, they eventually come to London, where they soon encounter a small swarm of walkers and escape into a townhouse-type apartment building, where there are a few more walkers that they manage to put down with the foam from a fire extinguisher and a cricket bat, only to find that an enormous swarm has gathered outside the building they're in, blocking their way out. As they're trying to figure out what to do, especially for food, it seems like someone is flashing a light towards them from across the city, so Daryl uses a mirror to try to flash back. After nightfall, they can hear noises in the apartment above them, after which they find a man is rappelled down onto the balcony outside of the apartment they're holed up in, and they invite him in when he shows them that he has 2 rabbits they can eat. The man's name is Julian, and he says that he's the last surviving Englishman. And he talks to them about how everything fell apart there in the UK, even though it was an island, when the outbreak happened. Apparently he has a boat, which Daryl and Carol, of course, want to use to get back to America, and they invite him along, but he's resistant to leave. But he changed his mind and tells them to meet him the next morning at 10 o'clock, which they're confused about because they don't know how they're going to know that it's 10 o'clock. But it turns out that he was able to mark the hour by ringing the bells of Big Ben. And of course, this drew off all the walkers which were blocking the building. Walkers, by the way, were called squid in the UK. Anyway, the 3 of them take his boat and leave London and are soon on the open waters, after passing under the Tower Bridge, which was absolutely infested with walkers, headed to North America. On the journey, Carol tells Daryl that when they were struggling to get through the tunnel after having left Paris, and the fumes from the bat guano were making them loopy, Carol had seen a vision of her daughter, and it helped her get through because it somehow made her feel that she was going to be okay and that things would be good moving forward, and so she just kept going. Eventually, the 3 come upon a storm, and as they're sailing through it, Julian gets knocked down and is hurt, leaving Daryl and Carol to make it through the storm on their own while he convalesced. Eventually, though, they ran aground and got knocked out, waking up later, wounded but alive, at daybreak. Initially, Daryl and Carol can't figure out where Julian is, so Daryl goes looking for him on the half-capsized boat that had run aground, only to find that he had died and turned when Carol finds him on the beach and is almost killed by him. As night falls again, Carol and Daryl make camp, and Daryl discovers that Carol has some kind of infection in her back where she was hurt by some kind of metal shrapnel or something that he has to pull out, quite to Carol's discomfort. Later, some folks carrying torches and wearing weird horned skull helmets show up, prompting Daryl to try to hide himself and Carol as the strangers raid the boat. In the morning, they set off on foot to parts unknown, and after not very long, realize they're in Spain when they find a signpost in a forest wherein someone has caught a bunch of walkers in some nets hanging from trees. Just before nightfall, they find a little shack that they can take shelter in, after which Daryl tries to keep Carol awake because she's got a bad headache from the infection, and if she sleeps, things could get really bad. Daryl ends up sharing with Carol that when he thought he was going to give up in the channel, he had a vision of Isabella, his love interest from the first 2 seasons, that helped him get through. The next day while hunting, Daryl sees a jeep of men go by from whom he hides. And then when he returns to the shelter, he can't find Carol. And that's where the episode ended. So I was a huge fan of The Walking Dead when it first came on for a number of seasons. And then in the latter seasons, I thought the show really dropped in quality, but I kept watching to the end to see how they were going to end it. I then immediately was excited to learn that we were getting a Daryl Dixon show and a show with Negan and Maggie, and that the latter would take place in New York City while the former would take place in Paris. I thought that was awesome, and I really liked the first 2 seasons of both shows, and I've been saying since then, when watching them, that these shows are so much better than the last couple of seasons of the original Walking Dead show, and that goes for The Ones Who Live as well. I thought that was really well done. So it's baffling to me why the last few seasons of the original show were so awful, but anyway, really liked The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 1 and The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2, The Book of Carol. And I really liked the premiere of Season 3 yesterday. Just really, really good. You know, these actors have been playing these parts for a long time. What is it, 15 years? And so It's like a second skin for them, and it just makes the characters seem so real. And, we've known these characters for so long that they're so real to us, and that really comes through on this show, and it's just fantastic. I think the production value on this show has been excellent in the first two seasons, shooting on location. Well, they always did. They shot in Georgia, but now they're in Europe. And in this case, they were shooting in Spain to create London because they only needed London for this one episode where the rest of it takes place in Spain. Although we haven't seen a lot of Spain yet because they were only in the woods part of Spain in the first episode, but we're going to see more of Spain as it goes on. But the show just looks amazing. The production values are excellent. Some of the kills in this premiere were insane. Some of the zombies in this premiere were insane, and they were in the channel at the end of last season. And it's just and in other episodes of these spin-off shows. So it's just really, really good. And London looked crazy. And for me, having been there 3 times now, it was just really cool to see it all decayed and whatnot and zombified, as it were. So I'm really enjoying the production values. And I think some great character stuff is ahead, and some great action stuff, and some great human condition examining stuff is ahead. That's something that the show did originally, and it kind of got away. I mean, I guess they tried to do it all the way through, but the quality just fell off. Anyway, they figured out how to do it right again, and they're doing it right again now. And I'm just really excited for the rest of the season. And I think part of that, too, is, there's a mission, right? The mission is to get home, and that's what the mission's been for Daryl all 3 seasons, although in the first 2 seasons he also had a mission of trying to get Laurent to where he was supposed to go and to protect him and his mother's. That was part of it as well. But of course, he always wanted to get back home because he was kidnapped originally and brought to Paris. And then that last season, it was Carol's trying to get to Daryl, right? And Daryl, was trying to continue what he was doing. So it was a very specific mission. In the overall show, the mission was survival, and you had your various villains, and they always were dealing with that. And so that was cool. But this show has a very specific mission, which is get home. And so just like last season's was find Daryl and the season before was, get home and help Laurent. It is a very specific mission, and I think that makes it intense to watch, and you're invested watching it. So I just think it's really working. And I'm happy they're doing these spin-off shows. I'm happy they're still doing this Daryl Dixon show, and that they brought Carol in. I mean, it's just amazing. The first season with just Daryl was really cool with the new characters, but having the two of them together, it's just amazing, as it always has been. And, the spotlight is on them every week, as opposed to when they were, part of an ensemble. I mean, they are, but they were part of a regular ensemble on the other show. And now they're the main focus every week, and I think it's just great. So I'm really looking forward to see what locations they're going to show us and what the conflicts they're going to run into are going to be and how they solve them. I'm just really looking forward to the rest of the season. So yeah, the premiere was great, and I'm going to get out of here for now, but I'll be back to do breakdown and review videos for the other episodes once they come out. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.